Hey nerds, with the release of Final Fantasy Commander decks, we're introduced to 65 new commanders, and while many people will ask the question, which of these is the most powerful, I like to ask how fun they are. Of course, each person's definition of fun differs, so I might rate a commander lower or higher than you would. That doesn't mean I think it's bad or you're bad for playing them, and to be clear, this is for casual EDH only. Now, because of how many commanders there are in the Precon and main set, I will be splitting my fun ranking up into two parts, so stay tuned for my main set fun ranking. The ranks are as follows. Wanna build, which means I'm interested in building these commanders. Their effect could be unique, or it's a new take on an old mechanic that I like. Fun, these are close to wanting to build, but I'm not going to go out of my way to brew a list for myself. Could be fun are commanders that are either powerful and don't really pull you in a single direction, but because of that, it allows you to build weird strategies with a powerful engine, or have unique build paths that might work. Fun in the 99 are for commanders that are printed for either 60 card magic or for to support a theme. I don't want to call them not fun since they're still usually fun, but not fun is the leader of a deck. And not fun is usually reserved for older commanders who are like 7-mana vanilla creatures, something way too jank, or just too salt-inducing for my taste. Alright, with all that out of the way, let's get into it. First up is Aerith the Last Ancient. I think it's a cool combination for life gain and reanimation, but it isn't anything that's super inspiring, so I'm going to put them, I think, solidly in the fun tier. So the next up is a partner pair. I'm probably going to say this wrong. It's Alacia and Alfund. I think it's a fine partner pair. I definitely think they're more fun in the 99 than like leading a deck, but I'll kind of leave that up to you. But we are going to put them as fun in the 99. Next up is Ardbert, Warrior of Darkness. So this is an Orzhov Legendary Matters commander, but with a focus on combat, and I think it has the potential to be a really fun deck. So I'm going to put them, I think, in the top end of fun for now. Next up is Auron, Venerated Guardian. It's a temporary removal spell on a creature. It's really good at removing tokens, but I'd be worried about removing cards with enters triggers, and you can't target your own thing. So for that, I think it goes right into the fun in the 99 category. Next up is Avalanche of Sector 7. If you have a lot of artifact decks at your table, this could definitely be a fun commander. Or you maybe build like a weird red group hug artifact deck. I'm between fun in the 99 and could be fun. I think I'm going to put them in the could be fun tier more than fun in the 99. I think there's probably some like interesting build with them. Next up is Bannon the Returner's Leader. So he makes an interesting artifact creature commander, and you can use wheels to fill up your graveyard, then cast a threat you've discarded. You still have to actually like pay for them. So I think I would rather play this in the 99. No, I think this could be a fun commander. I think there are enough interesting things to do in red and like wheels and stuff. Next up is Barret, Avalanche Leader. This is a little slow for an equipment deck, but it does make a ton of bodies. And I like that's in colors that aren't usually equipment decks, but you do have a lot of rule like modified commanders. I think this is solidly in the fun tier for me. Next up is Bugen Hagen, Wise Elder. Now this is easily fun in the 99. It's a mana dork that just draws a card on upkeep. It's not something I really want leading a deck, but I can definitely play this in like a legendaries deck or just like a big stompy deck in the 99. Next up is Kate Sith Fortune Teller. Now Kate provides an interesting source of card advantage and can buff a creature, but I think it'd be more fun in the 99 of like a Prosper Tomebound or Faldorn Dreadwolf Herald deck. So for that, I'm going to definitely put this in the fun in the 99. Next up is Celis Rune Knight. Now you can easily combo Celis with persist creatures like Murderous Redcap, or just use a Walking Ballista. I would think I'd probably just want to build a pure combo pile deck with Celis, where you can actually shuffle in a bunch of different cards that combo with her, so you're not winning the same way every single time. This is easily in the wanna build category for me. Next up is Sid, Free Flyer Pilot. It's a pretty underwhelming equipment commander. It's probably fun in the 99, so I'll put it in fun in the 99. Next up is Cloud X Soldier. I love seeing an equipment commander who wants you to go wide, and it's great with all the equipment that makes bodies when they enter, like the new ones from Final Fantasy, for Mirrodin, and Living Weapon. I think this is easily a fun top end of fun. I don't necessarily want to build it, but I think this would be like fun to play against for sure. Next is Cyan, Vengeful Samurai. I don't know what I'd want to do with this commander. Seems like a Voltron commander, but I feel like it'll take too many steps to really make it work, or too much like setup. So it probably goes into the 99, like here, I think. Next up is Edgar, Master Machinist. It could be cool to recast like an Icar Wellspring or a Mycosynth Wellspring for value, but being limited to once per hour turn is, I think, too high of a restriction. I'm happy to be proven wrong on this, but I'm between fun in the 99 and could be fun. I think I put them in could be fun. I think there's a possibility that there's some way to get around that restriction by either blinking them to like recast more artifacts that I'm not thinking about right now. Elena Turk Recruiter. It's a really great support piece for an artifact or legendary matters or even like sagas, but I don't really care about it as like a commander. I think it's probably really good in the 99, and it seems like more fun there where you can blink it. So it's going to go into fun in the 99. Next up is Emmett Shelk of the third seat. So this is an interesting Dimir spell commander that wants you to mill yourself and then burn your opponents. And I'm sure there's some great hidden gems for this commander. And I just played like in Dimir Spellslinger deck, so maybe I'm a little biased, but this is easily in the wanna build category for me. Next up is Einstein Varlinu. Now, I'd definitely be interested in building Orzhov Dragons, because we have a ton of new like Orzhov Dragons from Tarkir, and this is probably a really good home for them. Honestly, this is like a fun commander. I don't know if I necessarily want to build them, but they seem like they could be really fun. Next up is Fandel Telofori Asian. I'm saying that so wrong. Just let me know how wrong I am in the comments. I love it's a mono black Spellslinger commander. It's a really unexplored color for Spellslingers, and I'm glad it specifies non-token creatures so it doesn't get hosed by token decks. This is easily like a wanna build commander for me. Yeah, I'll put it like the bottom end of wanna build. Next up is Tai Scion Reborn. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong, even though I've definitely played these games. Now, this could be a really fun like Esper Super Friends or Artifact or Spellslinger commander, and I'm sure there are going to be builds that are very counterspell dense, and that seems probably a little less fun in my opinion, but I'm going to put them in the could be fun category for sure. Next up is Gata and Luzu. This is a not interesting commander for me. I'm not really interested in having a one-off protection spell in the command zone. I don't necessarily want to put it in not fun, because I feel like that's really restricted for like vanilla creatures or really abhorrent play patterns. So I'm going to put it in the tail end of fun in the 99, because I could see getting someone with this and that being fun, but not at the helm of its own deck. Next up is Guy Feral Youth. Now, they want you to fill your graveyard to burn out the table, and that seems like an incredibly fun commander that can get even better with keywords like lifelink or infect, and it's pretty easy to fill your, and I like that it's next up is Gayu Feral Youth. Now, this commander wants you to fill your graveyard and then exile cards one at a time to burn out the table. It does seem incredibly powerful, and I like that it's a pretty unique strategy for red, and because they're the one dealing damage, lifelink and infect work great. Honestly, this is an easy wanna build commander. I have Dimir and Sultai decks that do something similar, but having this in red seems like just a new take on it. Seems really cool. Next up is General Leo Christoph. This could be a good blink commander, but 5 mana seems a little steep for this effect, but I'd still be willing to give them a shot. It's mostly because I want to reanimate a Martyr of Sands. So into fun you go. Next up is Gogo Mysterious Mime. Now, this seems like a really fun commander with powerful attack triggers from cards like Atali Primal Storm and Godo Bandit Warlord. Getting free spells or additional combat steps should help you close out the game. I think this is easily a wanna build commander for me. Maybe closer to the back end. Nah, I'm gonna put it, this is close between, this wanna build tier is like all honestly pretty close. And I'm surprised how many red-based commanders I'm really liking from this set. Next up is Heidegger Shinra Executive. It's a pretty underwhelming soldier commander. Creature decks tend to go wide, so I don't know how often that last ability will actually trigger. It's probably fine in the 99 with like a soldier's deck, but nothing too fancy. Next up is Herm's Overseer of Ellipse. So this is almost a strictly better Murmuring Mystic in the command zone, which seems fun. I know it's not strictly better, which is why I said almost. If it could be I just like birds, but at the helm, but this can be at the helm of a ton of different decks, and it slots really easily into the 99. This, I think, is easily a fun tier commander for me. Next up is Hildebrand Materville. Now, this commander reminds me of Mosswood Dread Knight from Standard, and when I first saw it, I thought it was Standard legal, and I got really hyped until I realized it's simply not. It has a cute way to get around commander attacks, has a solid enough effect, and I would definitely be interested in building this with a Lurrus of the Dream Den companion deck. Also, I'm sure there's some infinite combo where you sacrifice this, cast its instant side, and do some weird loop. This is easily top of fun, arguably in want to build, but there's another Lurrus companion deck that I think I'm more interested in trying, but we'll see when we get to the end. Next up is Harzvagald of the First Brood. I think I nailed that pronunciation. I'd love to play this in a dragon deck, and there might be some combat focused blue deck that I'm missing. I'm gonna put this in the could be fun tier. I have a feeling there's something I'm missing with this commander, and I definitely want to see what other people do with them. Next up is Interceptor Shadow's Hound. It seems great in an Ezio deck with like 5-color assassins. Not really interested in this as its standalone commander. This is one that I'm tempted to put into not fun, but again, I think it's not like inherently unfun. Like it's not doing has a negative play pattern. It's just kind of probably good in like an assassin deck. So it's gonna be fun in the 99. Next up is Kefka Dancing Mad. Big Rakdos commanders. This is a big Rakdos commander that has a powerful effect, and it scales with the power of the table, which I love. I love when you can play commanders like this that if your opponents are playing precons, while this effect is still very good, obviously, free cards are great. If your opponents are playing great cards, you get great cards. If they're playing weaker cards, you get weak cards. So for that reason, I think it definitely belongs in fun. Next up is Kamari Valiant Guardian. So this is another commander button Simic that scales with the power of the table. And I also kind of want to make a non-legendary token deck around this where you can make copies of this that aren't legendary. So I can get multiple copies of other people's legendary creatures, since the copies of those creatures I don't think will be legendary. I actually don't know. I don't think they will be because the card itself isn't legendary, but I don't know if it would work like that. Let me know in the comments. But again, this is another fun commander for sure. Next up is Krill Baldsion. Nailed it. It's an underwhelming effect that only triggers once each turn. It can go hard with Martyr of the Sands, but again, I think this is definitely a solid 99 commander, or a card that's like more fun in the 99 than a commander. Lock Treasure Hunters next. I want to play this with Heartless Summonings. Heartless Summoning reduces the cost of creatures you cast by 2, but it gives your creatures -1/-1. So it's an asymmetrical board nerf that makes this pretty much unblockable. You still have to pay to cast spells, but if you hit any land cards, you get treasures, and players have to mill, which is interesting instead of being exiled. But I think it works like Garuda, where even if they mill and a card goes into exile, if you like Leyline out, you still get to cast it or play it because it's just cards from among the ones that were milled. This is easily, I think, in wanna build category for me. Next up is Lord Joskel Gaudo. Nailed it. If you can find a way to put a counter on this card each turn, you can get a lot of clues, and cracking clues seems fun. I'm gonna put this in the tail end of fun. Mostly because I just personally really like clues. Next up is Lulu Stern Guardian. Now, notably, it doesn't stop the attack of the creature, but it stops at least one creature from attacking again if it doesn't have vigilance. But I'd rather put her in like a Hilda of the Icy Crown or an Infect deck where you could really benefit from that proliferate and put more stun counters. I don't think I'd want this as my own commander. We're gonna put her, I think, like here. Yeah, we'll put her like there. Next up is Lice Hexed. This is an underwhelming commander that's just cost reduction in the command zone. You might be able to build a fun combat trick deck, but I think there are just so many better options for it than this. Again, probably solid in the 99, which is like a big theme with this set, which I think is okay. Like, I think if, at least for the commander decks, if there are a ton of cards that just slot into the 99 of existing decks, I think that's fine. Next up is Meister Seymour. So I want a copy of this for my Cleopatra deck, but I think it also makes I think it also makes a great elf ball commander with a focus on counters. It is a elf, which is great. The monstrosity can get really huge if you're storming off with a whole bunch of elves, because it's creatures you control, not like non-token creatures. So if you can go wide with elf tokens, put a bunch of counters on this, and then go to combat and then put a bunch of counters on another creature, I think it could be really good. I'm gonna put this in fun. I like having unique elf ball decks that aren't always like the same commander. Next up is Mogul Warrior. Listen, this is honestly, I think, my favorite card from the precons. It feels like the perfect middle ground for a group hug commander that lets people actually play the game of commander while not slingshotting people generally into like such a huge advantage. Now, obviously people can choose not to do this, so you only get one like Moogle or only like one counter, and that's fine if people don't want to do that. I still think this is like a really cool card, and I'm actually really excited to build them. Next up is Oka Traveling Merchant. I'm sure there's some infinite combo with this somewhere, but this is definitely a 99 card if I've ever seen one. Next up is Papalomo Totolomo. I think I'm saying that right. This is another great Lurrus companion deck. If you do this, make sure to add Tainted Strike so you can cheese out the table. Again, this is another, it's borderline wanna build, but I'm definitely gonna put this in like the top of fun. I think it makes a great Lurrus companion deck. Next up is Professor Hojo. This is a like fixed Nadu in mono green, And notably, this does reduce the cost of abilities to less than 1, so they can be 0. It is more restrictive, but I think there's probably some way to build around this that seems really cool. I'm going to put this in fun. Next up is Red 13, Proud Warrior. Now, this is a straightforward modified commander. I think it would probably be more fun in the 99, but it also has good keywords. So if you like Smashing Faces, you'll like this. I'm going to put this actually in fun, though. I think I put this in fun. I'll put this in the tail end of fun, mostly because big keywords are really cool. Next up is Riku, Resourceful Guardian. It's another great role player in counters decks. It can also be used as a political tool to move detrimental counters from your opponent's creatures, but I think this is just more fun in the 99. Next up is Sabin, Master Monk. There's nothing really appealing about this as a commander to me personally. I don't want to put it in not fun, but this is easily the least fun commander, I think, of the commander decks. Next up is Sephiroth, Fallen Hero. So at the time of recording, there aren't any additional payoff for cell counters aside from triggering modified or activating modified. That being said, turning random cheap creatures into big beaters definitely seems fun, so I'm going to definitely put them right up there. Next up is Setzer, Wandering Gambler. Now, I love that this triggers whenever you win a coin flip, so obviously the rest of its abilities are good if you can, like, attack with vehicles, but you can also just play coin flip cards, and there's like 51. Most of them are in like mono red, so I'm not sure how good it would actually be. However, I think it could be really fun. Kind of sad Mana Crypt is banned, because Mana Crypt seems like it'd actually be funny just for like the coin flipping aspect in this deck. Next up is Shadow, Mysterious Assassin. I don't like it when commanders need to deal combat damage to trigger, like they have to deal it, not like other cards. This effect is pretty good, but I think it'd be more fun in the 99 of like an Assassin's deck. Next up is Shalinda, Yevon Acolyte. It's like a generic +1/+1 counter commander. There's nothing really inspiring about this. Probably great in the 99, but I don't know. It's like fine. Next up is Siegfried, Famed Swordsman. Again, this seems really great in like a Mimeoplasm deck, but I wouldn't want this to helm a deck personally. I'm going to put this in fun in the 99. I'll put it like here, I think. Next up is Sin, Unending Cataclysm. So this seems really fun in the 99 of like a sea creature deck. And I could see this as a commander if you have a lot of +1/+1 counters or like counter decks in your play group. I'm going to put this in the top end of fun in the 99. Actually, I'm going to put this at the bottom end of could be fun. I think there's might be some like group huggy deck that you can like distribute counters to get benefit and then just take them all away with this. Strago and Realm is next. So it's a Chaos Wand on a stick that scales with a table. I probably won't build them myself, but I'm excited to see them across from me on the table. This is easily a fun commander. Next up is Tataru Taru. So it's a fixed Smothering Tithe that you can play from the command zone. That's about it for me. It's probably really good in the 99. And it's probably more fun there. I'll put it like here. Also, I like that they made the Lalafels dwarfs. So there isn't this like unique creature type 2 Final Fantasy that we can't interact with outside of Final Fantasy decks. I think they probably heard the feedback from like the Warhammer decks and stuff. So I'm glad they did that. Obviously, they didn't do it with all creatures, but the ones that they could, I'm glad they did. Next up is Terra, Herald of Hope. It feels like a lot of setup for a mediocre payoff, and I'm sure people will love the flavor of this commander, and I know it's at the helm of the Precon, but it honestly feels like a better 99 commander than a actual base commander. That being said, I'll put it at the top of fun in the 99. Next is Threnched Waters. This is fine, seems solid in the Legendary Matters deck, but not an interesting commander. Put it like up here, I guess. Next up is the Warring Triad. It's a colorless mana dork that has keywords and mills. Cool. Next up is Titus, Yuna's Guardian. So Final Fantasy X was my first game. I have to go back, I need to actually replay it. So I want to love this card, and this is definitely fun for me, but moving anything aside from like +1/+1 counters might be a pain to track in paper. But I like drawing cards and proliferating, so I'm going to put this in the tail end of fun, with the understanding that I'm a little biased. Next up is Tifa, Martial Artist. Extra combats if you have big creatures, which is great, and attacking more than once is almost always fun. Easily, solidly in the fun tier for me. Next up is Tromel, Seymour's Butler. So another unique Elf Ball option. You can use it as a combo payoff in an artifact deck, using like a Mirror Retriever combo with Walking Ballista, where you can just play a Walking Ballista with one counter, proliferate infinite number of times. At that point, you might have infinite mana anyways from like Ashnod's Altar, but if you don't, I think this is a some way to do that. For that, it's gonna go into the fun tier. I'll put it like there. Next up, Uzumaro Raging Yeti. I think this could be a really fun extra combat commander. There is the possibility you deck yourself because you have to pick one at random, but that's fine. I kind of want to embrace the random. And even if you don't get infinite combats, getting just enough extra combats, giving your creatures +3 in trample is really powerful. And then Umaro dealing 5 damage to any target again is real great, especially if you can give it lifelink or death touch or, again, infect. This is a fun commander for me. Next up is Uranger Augural Roulette. Sure, that sounds correct. This seems like Azorius has a ton of ways to tap and untap creatures, so it should be trivial to get multiple activations of this. I have a feeling people might play this as like a Thoracle combo deck, because you can just exile your library and then cast a Thoracle from the cards exiled. I'm going to put this in could be fun. If you don't build the deck that way, it's probably great. If you build the deck that way, I'm just not that interested in playing against it. Generally, not all the time, of course. Next up is Vincent Vengeful Atoner. One of the less exciting combat-focused commanders. I'd happily play this in the 99, but not really interested in having it helm deck. Next up is Waka Devoted Guardian. So it's a +1/+1 counter commander that needs to deal damage, combat damage to get any benefit, and only removes artifacts. Great role player and removal piece. Not so much fun as a commander, which I'm fine with. Next up is Yushital Knights Blessed. I love the idea of like an Esper burn deck, but there's also the possibility of people just building some artifact storm deck. And so I'm going to put her in could be fun. There's the possibility of people building just degenerate decks with her that aren't great to play against, but you know, if you build an interesting deck, I'm so excited to see it. Next up is Yuffie Materia Hunter. Can't use a ninjutsu ability from the command zone since it isn't commander ninjutsu, and that'd be the biggest appeal for this as a commander. Otherwise, you actually have to like play it or put it into your hand. It's way too much work. Fun in the 99 for sure. And finally, we have Yuna Grand Summoner. It's a mana dork in Bant. It gives your creatures counters. Seems like a solid precon commander. There are more interesting counter commanders, but my inner Timmy I think would actually enjoy having a mana dork that also buffs my creatures. And notably, you don't have to use that mana to cast the creatures. It's just you tap it, and then whenever you cast a creature, you put counters on it. So I'm sure there's going to be some infinite where you keep tapping, untapping this, adding mana, stacking that delayed trigger, or I don't know if it's a replacement effect, and then just playing one big creature that has a bunch of counters on it. I'm like Walking Ballista, but you just have infinite mana at that point, so it's like, who cares? But I mean, if you use that mana to untap her and then tap her again, you can cast one giant creature. Anyways, I'm yapping. This is a fun commander for me. And that wraps up my Final Fantasy Commander Precon Fun ranking. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comment section down below. What commanders are you excited to build? And don't worry, I'll be covering the main set next. So yeah, I will see you nerds in the next one.